we saw that when you are being cross-examined by the council to the commission in Enugu, you said it was the North that waged war on Biafra.
The North, in fact, the first division from the North descended on Biafra from Nsukka.
Is that the first division of Northern Nigerian Army?
Of course, it is not first division of Northern Nigerian Army, but it was commanded by the Northern troops, Northern officers and men.
And that's your basis of saying it was the North that waged war on Biafra?
I said actually it was Nigeria that waged war, not Biafra waging war on Nigeria.
No, you said the North in your evidence.
It must be lapsus linguae.
Thank you very much. Now, you said it was in your book and in your evidence that the coup at 1966 January was long overdue.
That was what I felt. That was my opinion.
Do you still feel that a military coup is the best solution to political problems of countries such as Nigeria? Now, as you are there now on oath.
The situation in 1966 cannot by any means be equated to the situation now in Nigeria.
Now, do you agree? Now, what I'm saying is, maybe you don't understand my question.
I do understand your question. In 1966, how I felt then might not necessarily be how I feel now.
Okay. Do you still believe that military as an alternative to political government or to democratic government is the best solution?
Right now that I am an old man, I feel otherwise.
Okay. And you know that that first attempt you made was the beginning of the military incursion into democratic rule in Nigeria.
Very right. It is not the handover or button changing that you keep having after that.
Okay. Now the Ohanaeze petition and your evidence said there was to be a planned jihad on January 17th. It came from your evidence.
I said it's in my book, which was published in 1981.
Listen to my question, please.
Yes, I said so.
Now, immediately after talking about the jihad, they said the coupists.
There's nothing called
Listen coup. Now, those who planned the coup, the same thing.
coup plotters.
Yes, the coup plotters, it doesn't matter. The coup plotters were to install Chief Awolowo as the president.
That's what they plan to do.
Which of them? Those who planned the jihad or your own, those who planned...
You talk about planning the jihad. Those of us concerned with the coup of January 66 did not plan any jihad.
Yes.
In fact, they carried the coup, they moved fast to preempt jihad. That's what I said.
Listen,
and it's so well recorded.
No, it's no question of well recorded. You see, you planned a coup.
Beautiful.
The Ohanaeze petition alleged that that coup was to prevent a jihad on the 17th.
Beautiful.
The following sentence in their petition says, those coup plotters wanted to install Chief Awolowo as the president of Nigeria. Something is amiss somewhere. Is it your group that wanted to install Chief Awolowo or the jihadists? That's all I want you to clear to the commission.
The book I tendered here is very specific on it. Awolowo was to come and be the head of government.
That's your arrangement?
Our own, yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you believe that Igbos are being marginalized?
Of course Igbos are being marginalized.
Okay.
Let me tell you something.
Wait, you have answered my question. Now, one of your witnesses said Igbos are everywhere in this country and doing everything. They are so friendly and they are involved in every trade and business in every nook and corner of this country.
Is that how you appreciate?
Answer the question.
Is that how you appraise marginalization?
Answer the question.
Every individual, let me tell you what is wrong with this country.
Sorry, my lord.
Every individual,
my lord, I want you to answer my question.
Struggles on his own. Every individual. So Igbos being everywhere shows that Igbos are the best Nigerians. They are the best Nigerians. They are everywhere. They are true Nigerians.
You should have waited for my question.
No, but I must preempt even your question. You see, Igbos, if you are talking about marginalization, it isn't in terms of Igbos individually working as individuals.
In what context is the marginalization?
Exactly. For instance, the question of appointments, the question of things that belong to us in general, in fact, even the question of depriving Igbos of their rights. This is marginalization.
Now, you said in the Ohanaeze petition that Igbos are only 1 out of 400 ethnic groups in this country. You agree?
Could you please restrict yourself to the statements I made?
You are supposed to answer my questions. If you don't know, say you don't know.
Uche Chukwumereji has answered that kind of question. I am dealing with January coup, and that Ohanaeze has partitioned everything. My compartment is January coup 66.
My friend, you are here as the witness of the commission, and it is my right to ask you questions, and you have an obligation to answer them. If you don't know how to answer, say you don't know.
The truth is that you said that I falsified history. I want to know where in my statement, it is in your letter. I want to know where in my statement I falsified
it is in the record of Ohanaeze, and you are their witness. And you agree with me that Ohanaeze are complaining of marginalization?
Of course.
Now, do you agree with what Ohanaeze said?
I agree that Ohanaeze is right in saying that Igbos are marginalized.
And they are also right in saying that there are over 400 ethnic groups in Nigeria.
There are too many, even more than 400 if you like.
And you also agree with what they said, that the Igbos constitute about 16% of the population of this country.
I would have said actually 25%.
Okay. Now do you have any statistics to show that the Igbos in appointments do not have up to 25% in the federal service? Do you have any statistics?
My
If
Lord,
you don't have, say you don't have.
Let me answer it. Don't rush me. How can you have statistics when we don't have true census figures in Nigeria?
I'm not talking
How can you? You are talking about statistics. Let us have census figures first.
Because we don't have census figures, then we don't have statistics.
Then you are imagining
appointments in federal.
A lot of people are dreaming dreams in this country. Some people put the population of this Nigeria at 120 million. Some said 100. Some said 100. When are we going to have our figures? True figures.
Please answer my question. We're talking about appointments. You said you are being marginalized in appointments. Do you have any statistics to show that you do not have up to 25%?
Ohanaeze can supply that, and I believe that Ohanaeze has supplied that.
They have not supplied it.
Well, you go to Ohanaeze to supply it. No. Let me go on what I know.
Now, military regimes, just like the one you wanted to bring in, come on their own. And when they rule as military regimes.
Sometimes, not all the time.
Not all the time.
If you like, I name your military regimes that use civilians to get on with rulership or governance.
Just like civilians use you in 66. There was never any military regime in this country that ruled without civilians.
Fair enough.
That ruled without civilians.
Good. I'm happy you are confirming it. That's what I said.
Yes. And there was never any military regime in this country that ruled without representation from across this country.
We never ruled Nigeria.
No, I'm not talking.
We of January 66 never ruled Nigeria, so you are not in a position to know who should have been in the government if we actually wanted to rule Nigeria. Okay.
Now, in 1966, 60% of the officers of the Nigerian army were Igbos.
60% of the officer corps
were Igbos.
That is, in fact, an estimate, yes.
Yes. And at that time, from your evidence and your book, one of the things worrying the Igbo officers was that there was the Nigerianization of the army, and some people were insisting on quota.
You know, I took advantage of Nigerianization of the army. So I could not condemn Nigerianization of the army.
No, I'm not saying you.
What we took exception from was the question of anybody in trousers becoming an officer. That's what we took exception from.
Okay. Now, when you left the army as a captain.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
I didn't leave the army. I was bundled into prison.
Okay, and then from there dismissed or retired?
Up till tomorrow, we were not tried, so I don't know whether it's dismissed or retired.
And all this is because you are involved in the January 66.
Exactly.
General Njuma.
And as I told you, even Gawan did not try us.
Yes.
Rather, he gave one of us, our leader, he gave our leader a military burial and gave him full military honors whilst he detained us. And you could kill Ironsi for not trying us. And he left that gentleman for not trying us either.
Now, at the time you planned the coup, or you were planning the coup, you knew that if the coup failed, your career in the army is finished.
Fantastic, you are right.
Then
I knew.
Yes. Then why were you complaining that some of your mates were major generals?
You see, the trouble is that
they didn't plan a coup. They were good Nigerians. That's why they became major generals.
A lot of them became major generals because of coups.
Successful
and in fact,
coups.
they promoted themselves. You should have known that. Why are you laughing? You should have known that. They promoted themselves. That's why other countries laugh at us. Please go ahead.
Yes, I'll go ahead, Mr. Bule. Mr. Bule, now in your book, you tried to state the reasons why you people gathered to organize the coup.
You're right.
Now, thinking back now, do you still regard those reasons as valid? Listen, for a military takeover instead of a democratic change of government. You understand the question?
The reasons were as valid then as they are valid today. The killings in the West and the killings in TV area prompted, in fact, an action from us. And there were other reasons. Now, other reasons, they're all enumerated in the book I had tendered.
Now, you use the rank colonel now because you are promoted in the Biafran army.
Beautiful. And I prefer it.
And Ojukwu also promoted himself.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know. When he comes, you'll ask him.
Now, from certain publications we read, credited you, you are not in very good terms with Ojukwu.
I am happy you said this.
Yes.
In other words, I have my own views on every issue. I am happy you said this.
Yes.
Because I fought the war on the Biafran side. I criticized Ojukwu for taking certain measures. And I'm happy you have my book there, The Fall of Biafra. I have my own views, just as I had my own views in Nigeria when I was an army officer, and my views tallied with some views by other people.
Now, do you know that, like I said earlier, in every corner of this country there are Igbos living peacefully with other Nigerians? Living
peacefully?
Yes, with other Nigerians.
Well, there are Igbos, correct, but living peacefully, I don't know. Because they are being murdered at every turn. They are being slaughtered at every turn. Anytime there was any riot, they are slaughtered. And you should have known that too.
Are you speaking on facts or on what you read on the pages of newspapers?
Well, all I can tell you is that there's even a case here.
There are Igbos across northern Nigeria.
And probably Akaloka is living happily, isn't he? Probably.
Do you know what Akaluka did? You brought the issue. Do you know what Akaluka did? Do you know the facts?
Whatever he did.
Listen, do you know the facts?
Whatever he did, he should have been subjected to the rule of law.
Listen, do you know the facts?
The rule of law should have applied.
Do you know the facts about Akaluka?
You said that I listened to the radio and I read the papers.
Look,
I read the papers.
Oh, so
all I know is that he is not alive today to even deny what he's been said to have done.
Do you know that as a result of Akaluka, 20 House of people were killed?
That is what you said. We have not been told this. Have you sent any delegation to Igbo land to explain the Akaluka issue? Have you sent any delegation to Igbo land?
You are not supposed to ask me questions. You have to answer my questions.
I'm sorry. I'm awfully sorry, my lord.
Okay.
All I can tell you is that you are begging the question with regard to Akaloka because he's not around. He's dead already.
Joe